So we're doing parallelograms. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, that has two sets of parallel lines. This line is parallel to this line. This side is parallel to this side. That's what these guys mean. So let's write this. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which opposite sides are parallel. A couple of things that are important about parallelograms is that opposite sides and angles are always congruent. So this side is congruent to this side is congruent to this side. And also the angles, opposite angles are congruent. This angle is congruent to this angle because they're opposites. This angle is congruent to this angle. Opposite angles are congruent. Now, consecutive angles are supplementary. Remember, supplementary is two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So these guys are consecutive. They're supplementary angles. These guys are consecutive angles. They're supplementary. They add up to 180. Now, a couple of interesting facts about diagonals in a parallelogram is that they form two congruent triangles. And also the diagonals bisect each other. Some of you might not remember, but parallel lines, they have the same slope. And congruent lines, they have the same length. You could use the slope formula here to find the slope and to see if the lines are parallel. And you might need to use the distance formula to find the length of each line and see if they have the same length. This example here, we have to find the coordinates of the intersection of the diagonals of a parallelogram with these vertices. So we're going to plot, because we have the graph, we're going to use the graph first and then we're going to use the midpoint formula. So we're going to plot the points. Four right there, not there. So we need to find the coordinates of the intersection of the diagonals. So I'm going to trace both diagonals. And I know the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. That means cut each other in half. They intersect right there. And I know by looking at the graph that this point is 4.5 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. And then 1, 2 for y. Sometimes if you don't have the graph, you can just use the midpoint formula. Just make sure when you choose the points, they're opposite points to find the distance between them. So I'm just going to use this point and this point, because 0, 0 right there, and then this point is the 9, 4 that you see right there. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to plug that in the formula. So x1 right there is 0, plus x2 right there 9 over 2. That's the formula. And then y1 right there 0, y2 right there 4. And then over 2, because it's from the formula, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's the same point that you got where they intersect in the graph, or if you use the midpoint formula.